What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today I'm joined by Jim Pappas of Cheesesteak Adventure. Jim, welcome to the podcast.
Rich, thank you very much for having me on the podcast.
Jim, I am two things. I'm excited, number one, and I am interested about anything that you're going to say when it comes to cheesesteaks. The reason why I really wanted to have you on the What's Happening Delco podcast is because we interview people all the time, and part of the segment is talking about things in Delco. And one of them is cheesesteaks. Inevitably, Jim, somebody is going to mention almost 50% of the guests that we interview. Somebody's going to mention their favorite cheesesteak place is outside of Delco. It's in Philadelphia, Chester County, I don't know where, sometimes Delaware. So what I wanted to do is have you come on the podcast and let's set Delco straight. We're here at Johnny Paisano's and we're going to have them as a guest on the podcast coming up. But Jim, Delco, cheesesteaks, lay it on us.
Delco Cheesesteaks, actually it's funny because I do a March Cheesesteak Madness. And it's just like the basketball tournament, 64 cheesesteaks start the tournament. We break them up into 4 regions. And I looked at, to figure out the regions, I looked at the 1,000 cheesesteaks I've eaten, and I ranked them by county and by score. And it turned out that Delco was even with Philadelphia for the same number of high-scoring cheesesteaks.
Wow, okay.
So it's actually, I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that because a lot of people think that some of the best cheesesteaks are in Delco. And 16 Delco for March Cheesesteak Madness, Delco's its own region. There's plenty of good cheesesteaks. It's funny, actually, I compared the list from this year and last year, the cheesesteak entrants, and there's probably 8 new ones on there. So we had 16 really good ones last year. We had 16 good ones this year, and 8 of the 16 were new.
All right, help the people out, Jim. Who are these 16 that showed up on the list for March Madness?
Well, this one right here, Johnny Paisano's. I think this goes to your point, I think, that Johnny Paisano's, I've been saying this for 3 years. This is probably one of the best cheesesteaks that nobody in the area talks about. We'll talk to Johnny in a minute, but he can cook. I mean, you can see the cooler with the fresh-made soups, and it's funny because he just won the Delco region for March Cheesesteak Madness, and all the comments I'm seeing is, wow, I get the pork from there. I get the soup from there. I get the special roast beef dinner from there. I didn't even know they had a cheesesteak because I got everything else from there. So it's to your point, I think, that people just don't think of one of the best cheesesteak places right under their nose, and they don't even think about it. They go to, and it's what I've learned from the adventure is everybody goes back to the cheesesteak they grew up on. That's the cheesesteak for them. They could pass 5 really good ones to get to the one they grew up on.
So for those that don't know your bona fides, your credibility, how did Cheesesteak Adventure for you get started?
Bona fides?
Yes, bona fides.
What is that? Do you smell something?
Well, all I smell right now is really great food.
The Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure started over, actually, as I was driving up thinking about it, it's been over 4.5 years, started 4.5 years ago. I was looking for something to do. My kids were in college, and I wanted to do something, I had a 25-year corporate career. I wanted to do something fun, different, creative for the rest of my life. I was talking to my ex-new best friend at the time, and we decided cheesesteaks. We started eating cheesesteaks, grading them, finding stuff to do around cheesesteaks, and it just took off from there. And so I'm up to, I think, 1,036 different cheesesteaks in the last 4 years, a 5-category, 100-point scoring system, roll, meat, cheese, extras, and overall. And it's been fun. Meet a lot of, except for all the nasty comments on social media.
There's always people that want to say to you, hey, I don't know how you picked that cheesesteak, or I don't know how you came to that opinion. Like you said, everybody has their favorite and they're willing to die on the sword for them, or die on the grill, so to speak.
Exactly, and they don't say it that nicely, but they, yeah, they do. They question my taste in cheesesteaks. But you're right; it's the die on the sword. It's like I always compare it to like the Beach Boys, "Be true to your school." In Philly, it's "Be true to your cheesesteak." Everybody, you say something bad about the cheesesteak I grew up on, even though I may not have had it. I may have moved away and haven't had it in 20 years. But if you say something bad about the cheesesteak I grew up on, oh no, we're going to war.
After 1,000+ cheesesteaks, do you have any like really over the top stories? Any kind of experiences where you stopped and said, "I wasn't expecting that to happen"?
No problem.
It
was my pleasure.
I actually did a top 5. I actually did a top 5 memories from the adventure, and I do absolutely. It's John's Roast Pork. John's Roast Pork, South Philly, James Beard Award winner, great cheesesteak. I've been there at least 4 times, and unfortunately, I've never gotten a good cheesesteak from there. Bad day. I mean, I know the one day they were definitely shorthanded. I could see that. I just never had a good one, and I graded them as such. And so, of course, 3rd generation, and everybody loves them. And like I said, James Beard Award winner, and you got a knucklehead eating cheesesteak. So you're like, who are you going to believe? But so I just never had a good one. I take pictures of all the time, and so I gave him a low rating. And one time, a man a little bit younger than me came up to me and he goes, John's Roast Pork is one of my top 3 favorite cheesesteaks. Why do you grade them so low? I said, let me ask you, why is John top 3 for you? And he said, because when I was little, he goes, the first thing I did with my dad, by ourselves, no mom, no siblings, just me and my dad, we went to a car show in South Philly, and then we went to John's for a cheesesteak. And I said, you probably stood in that same stupid line between the stupid chain link fence. Of course, they've changed it since then. And you stood in that little chain link fence. He goes, yeah, and it was great. He goes, because it was crowded, my dad was holding my hand real tight. And he's holding his, pretending you could see him holding his dad's hand as he's telling the story. And he said it was great. He held me really close to him because it was crowded. It was the greatest. I said, yeah. I said, well, that's the difference. I said, my dad didn't wait in lines. If there was a line, we went somewhere else. And we ended up spending the next 10, 15 minutes talking about dads and shows and the first thing you ever did with a dad. Cheesesteaks never came up again.
So it was really the connection, the experience, the memory as a kid, and the memory kind of filtered its way into the cheesesteak. And look, I mean, I can tell you, growing up in Willingboro, New Jersey, now, I've been in Delco now for over 20 years, but growing up in New Jersey, there's East Ridge Pizza. East Ridge Pizza in Willingboro, the pizza is the best pizza I can say I've ever had. Well, maybe not, but it's that childhood memory of every week we went to East Ridge, and we got the hoagies, and we got the pizza, and all that stuff. I understand the connection. I really do.
Absolutely. Cheesesteaks, they're imprinted with the happy memories.
Now, this is Delco. Let's get out of South Philly. Talk about the 16 cheesesteaks that are in the Delco bracket. So when I ask people, where do you go for a cheesesteak in Delco? Hopefully they're studying up your list and saying, all right, if I haven't tried it yet, I'm trying. Or because of this interview, they went and tried, and now they can say, I'm not going to that G place. I'm not going to that P place. I'm not going to that J place. I'm going to someplace in Delco. And if they haven't been to Johnny Paisano's, number 1 in Delco, based on Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure, where are they going?
Well, if they live in Lansdowne, they're going to Doc's Deli. If they're from Sharon Hill, they're going to Leo's. Yeah, there's Michael's Sandwich Shop down in Woodland, right off Fairview Avenue. He's been there since 1977, and it's funny because he was one of my other memories because it was Tancredi's before that. But Michael still makes a good sandwich shop down there. Liberty, down right off the Widener campus. They have a bar next door, so that a lot of people have memories of that. They have a good cheesesteak. They, those are the old school. The Doc's, Leo's, Michael's, Pinocchio's. right there in Media. They make a nice cheesesteak. They actually have a Zorba. Before the adventure, I was a pizza steak guy, and I like the cheese melted on top. And Pinocchio's and they have a beer garden, and I like beer too. And they have a nice Zorba there. Those are the old school. Now, for a little different, the Fabios, Market and Tap. A little nicer atmosphere. Makes a really good cheesesteak. Providence Pizza, kind of get on the outskirts, kind of the outpost of Delco.
Right, Newtown Square.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Delco.
Providence Pizza makes a nice cheesesteak. Media, Big Al's Eatery. Big Al makes a good cheesesteak. He took over someone else's spot, but he's been, I guess, a year and a half or so in Media. He makes a nice cheesesteak. It's funny they come to you, but it's Dairy Cottage.
Okay, yeah.
Dairy Cottage. They have an XL. It's like a 24-inch cheesesteak. So you go get a milkshake. I remember when our kids were little, it was we took them to dinner depending on what my wife and I wanted. If we wanted to drink, we went to the one place. If we wanted ice cream, we went to another place. And so if you're taking the kids out and you want ice cream, go to Dairy Cottage, get a good cheesesteak, and have ice cream.
Look, I know if anybody isn't following you on the Instagram, on Facebook, what would they look for? Who should they be looking for? What's your at sign?
Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure. Philadelphia. Everything's titled Cheesesteak at Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure. I guess my handles on Twitter and Instagram are Cheesesteak Adventure.
You got a presence on YouTube. You got your own website.
YouTube channel. I had the website. The website we took down to fix, and then we got a little too crazy with fixing, and so we're kind of back to square one with that. So kind of focusing right now on YouTube, and the YouTube channel. Every video's on there. I'd love to take a video of myself. Early in the adventure, it's funny, I can tell what point in the adventure I was at a cheesesteak place by how many selfies I took with the cheesesteak.
Or I think your hair's changed through the whole process too, hasn't
it? That's been an interesting journey also. But the YouTube channel has all of them, all the events. Our first couple times together are on there, and the different things I've done.
With Fermented Adventure, our sister podcast. So you can see those interviews too, or hear those interviews on that podcast. What's the future for Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure? What do you see? Where's this now going? International?
I don't know. I wish someone would tell me.
Just keep doing it.
We're not going to keep. We're going to try and grow and change a little bit. So we had March Cheesesteak Madness, and I know on the traditional calendar that the man forces everybody to look at, it's November. But on the cheesesteak calendar, it's still March. So we're finishing up March Cheesesteak Madness. We're at the Sweet 16. Johnny's going to represent Delco. Then we have the other 3 regions to get to. Then we'll have the Final 4. And then from there, maybe some collaborations. Try some other food. On the adventure, I did meet the original creator of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and he wrote a book about the different regional foods. So maybe we might try and do different regional foods with different people. I don't know, see what happens. And maybe just regional tournaments. People like the tournaments, like that say, hey, I'm the best of County X, and they'll get a play-in to the big tournament.
Maybe like a sleeper sort of thing. Somebody coming out of Berks County or Lancaster or out in the Pittsburgh area. They want to bring that cheesesteak over here. Let's see what they're putting up, right?
Berks County, it's funny you mentioned Berks is the ugly oyster. They put peanuts on their cheesesteak, and exactly. They put peanuts in it.
Dawn made a face.
Yes,
it was kind of like wow, sort of. I'm not sure, right?
that was one of I think that was top memory number 3. My night out at the Ugly Oyster, eating peanuts on my cheesesteak. That was a fun night. And I've seen a lot of good pictures of cheesesteaks coming out of North Jersey and stuff. So, so we might have to have some kind of like championship week in basketball, where we have the outlying tournaments with a guaranteed spot in the big dance. I don't know.
Jim, I want to see a cheesesteak eating contest, like Nathan's does, and see how fast people can put down cheesesteaks. But I think that defeats the purpose, because you're supposed to enjoy the combination between the bun and the meat and the onions and the greasy, oily, and cheesy and tasty and flavorful, right?
Exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons that Johnny wins versus... unless someone really wants me to be coast or be involved in the cheesesteak eating contest, and you're probably not going to see me there unless it's like swimsuit models eating cheesesteaks or something. But yeah, I have no desire to see men shoving cheesesteaks in their faces. But because there are a couple that go actually in Delco. Delco has a cheesesteak eating contest every year at Delco Steaks, and it's not as disgusting as I described it. It's actually a very nice event. They do a really nice event out there at Delco Steaks. But yeah, from the adventure, from eating 1,000 cheesesteaks, I'm getting to more cheesesteaks like with Johnny's, where you can taste it. And I think you're going to like it too because you have a culinary background, right?
Yes.
So the flavors, tasting the flavors. I don't want just a cheesesteak where you just slam it with cheese and the cheese just covers everything. It's really just a cheese-covered sandwich. I want to be able to taste the meat. That's one of the things when I started, everybody's like, oh, well, I'm a traditionalist, just roll meat and cheese. And it's like, all right, well, if I'm a traditionalist and I'm thinking about steak, if I go to a steakhouse, I want to taste my steak. I want to get a side of onions. I want to get a side of mushrooms and let them blend their
and dress it up a little bit.
Yeah, just to make it nice. So yeah, we don't know where we're going to go, but we'll go something. I don't know. We'll go somewhere. We'll do something. Hey, I put my face on my own T-shirts. I like to see me. I like to. You
want to see you out there.
No matter what everybody else thinks, I like to see me out there.
All right. Well, you're out there, and I know where you may say for a cheesesteak, but you're in Delco, and you're looking for a piece of pizza. You're looking for some pizza. Where are you going?
In Delco for pizza?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've had pizza in Delco in forever. Probably Pinocchio's, just to go back to our original point, the familiarity. You know what? There was a place. This is one of the things when I'm on, because I'm on the cheesesteak adventure, I'm going and I'm having to eat cheesesteaks. There was a place on McDade Boulevard, and the name's escaped. I know it's not right, but Amato's, Alfamani's, something like that's coming to mind. But it was on McDade Boulevard, Ridley Township, and they had the circle. They had like a circle brick oven where you could see the pizzas in there staying warm and just going around in a circle. And all
right, so here's what's going to happen. If you remember while you're driving around, let us know and we'll give a shout out to that. But if anybody remembers, send us an email and let us know. You're in the car and you're heading to your next cheesesteak adventure. Where are you going? Royal Farms or Wawa if you need a convenience store option?
Oh, right now with Schwarberfest, $6 hoagies, I'm going to Wawa, and I'm pretty loyal to Wawa, and but yeah, especially I forgot it's funny for me eating so many cheesesteaks, and I'm not really a big hoagie person anyway, and I stopped for Hoagie Fest this summer, and I forgot how good a Wawa hoagie is. So definitely Wawa. There's a couple things I like about Royal Farms, but overall, you just
you can't beat a Wawa, is what you're saying.
Can't beat a Wawa. You got to do the Wawa. Wawa really hurt me for a while there when they had the Tasty Cake iced honey buns 2 for $2.25. that really people always say like, oh, eating so many cheesesteaks, you must have gained a lot of weight. I'm like, no, it's the stupid Tasty Cakes. It's Wawa. It's Wawa trying to make me fat with $2 for $2.22. Luckily, they don't have that special as often.
Jim, is there anything we haven't talked about on the podcast today? Anything you want people to know about you or Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure?
Try new cheesesteaks.
It's
like we talked about beginnings. Is that people we're creatures of habit, and it's one of the things. One of the things about the Cheesesteak Adventure that's really is changed for me is that it forces me to get out of my normal routine, being forced to try new things.
You're making life an adventure.
I am making a life an adventure.
Jim, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for helping to set Delco straight, that now people have a better understanding. Get out there, try some Delco steaks that you haven't had before, and let us know when we talk about which ones are your favorites. But, stay out of those Philadelphia areas for now and enjoy the Delco.
There's plenty to try in Delco. Thanks,
Jim.
Thank you.